down today. And can you hear me okay?
You've got an echo.
Something. Okay, is it better?
Yes.
Okay. So I know everyone started with the minutes from the April meeting. Do we have a motion to approve those?
I so move.
And do we have a second? Thank you, Dr. Jack. Thank you, Wanda. We're motioning that she's providing a second. Is there any discussion of the minutes? Anything we need to discuss about that? If not, all those in favor of approval, you would signify by raising your hand. And any opposed? Okay, so we'll move to the finance. Ms. Bartlett will provide those.
Okay, Shirley, you're still a little choppy, by the way.
Okay.
Y'all should have gotten these by email. I need to just say a couple of things. The last column, of course, shows the percentage of our budget, and we're 7/12 through the year, which is about 58%. And you can see some things that are over the 58%. But primarily, they are things that have an income with an expense, like the brick sales or merchandise, or something kind of new to us is the servicing and events. This is Joanna and Ashley's brainstorms of doing concerts and things, and movie in the park, and the movie at the airport, and things like that. And we have an income account and an expense account, and both of those are significantly over what we projected, because this year ended up doing a lot more things than they thought, or they just dreamed up more things or something. Anyway, we have it's a little over 13,000 income and 8,000 expenses. So we're still ahead on that. We have some bills outstanding that the city has not decided fully how we want to handle yet. And I'm just going to tell you that they're there. And when I know something, you'll know something. The restroom trailer got repaired at a RV facility, and that's a little over $3,000, and we're not sure how that's going to be handled yet. The flood in the basement, I assume everybody's heard about. It was actually 3 floods, I think, when it was all said and done. And we have almost $12,000 from Rainbow to get all the water out of there. That is also something the city is looking at. They may file insurance, and they've got some other things. So we're not doing anything with those right now. The audit was completed. We got word on that last week, and they should have copies this week, and we should be able to distribute them to y'all. There were no significant anything in that. The main reason I need it is to give it to the CPA to do our 990 form for last year. And I will be doing that as soon as they get here. Other than that, does anybody have any questions about anything? Yes, Dr. Dad.
I always have questions about budgets. I love budgets. We didn't receive any hot tax at all during April.
Contacts?
Hot tax.
Hot tax. No.
And yet we're still showing 71% of our income for this year.
Right.
I keep thinking that
we used to only get the hot tax by the quarter, and it was pretty much delayed. And so we would end up with 4 quarters, but they would all be shifted one each year. This year, they started giving it to us as soon as they get it. So I'm surprised there wasn't a check in April, but I expect some in May. And we're just better caught up on it, I think. But it's also an indication that we are doing better than expected.
Well, that's my hope.
Yes.
I keep looking at that saying, well, Gosh, it's got to show more income this year than last.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Anyone else have a question?
Thank you so much, Cheryl, for that good news. And we need to approve those as well. Is that correct, Sherry?
Yes.
So do I have a motion for approving the financial report? Wanda's indicating that she makes that motion. And do we have a second?
I second.
Okay, thank you very much. Any more discussion on financials? If not, all those who in favor of approving the financial reports signify by raising your hand. And any opposed? If not, those financials are approved, and we'll move on to staff reports.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. The first thing under my report is TACVB. That is our annual conference for the Texas Association of Convention and Visitors Bureau. This year it's being held in Conroe at the Margaritaville Resort, which was formerly La Torretta, which was formerly Del Lago. It is in person this year, and sort of contingent upon the rate of recovery that we've seen financially. I did make the executive decision to go ahead and register us to attend. The lodging for that one is a bit pricey. It's $165 a night per room plus a $35 resort fee. So we are sharing one room. It's Joanna and Ashley and myself to try and cut as many costs as we can. But we're excited about that. We are working on our submissions for the Idea Fair, which is where we compete against other CVBs for in different categories of design to sort of see how we're measuring up with our peers. So we're excited about that. That takes place in August. I believe the 22nd, it's somewhere in the 20s of August. So we will be traveling to my old stomping grounds in Conroe for that. The basement update, Cheryl sort of killed my surprise. We had 2 weekends of consecutive flooding in the basement. And we're talking like 8 inches of water. Not typically that that exterior door that leads out on the Ibarbo statue side. We, pretty consistently, we'll see if it's a heavy enough rain, we'll see some seepage from there. But this was on the west side of the building in the oil derrick room, and we couldn't see where it was coming from. Our first call was to ServPro. They came out and their thought was that it was surface water. And as such, the minimum to extract the water and disinfect that carpet and everything was $14,000. The high end was $24,000 on that bid. We decided to get some more bids that seemed a little high for what it was. And that carpet down there is indoor, outdoor. It's 25 years old. There's no padding. It's glued to a cement floor. And so we brought in Rainbow, and I can't think of the name of the other company, Grogan's. Yeah, Grogan's. And they gave us some different bids that combined didn't even meet the low end of the ServPro bid. So Rainbow won out on that, and they came out and they extracted the water and disinfected and put out fans. And we thought that we had it figured out. At that point, we thought that the water was coming from a clogged downspout on the roof. And we brought out Kearney Roofing, and they cleared out that drain pipe and got a ton of stuff. So we were certain that that was the culprit. And then, of course, we had more rains that next week, and we had even more water than before, and that was with a repaired downspout. So we called Kearney out again, and we brought in Steve Bartlett. He walked around, he couldn't figure it out. And water is just really tricky. And then water on top of a building that was built in 1917 and has had different iterations. The old wives' tale says water finds its way. But Kearney Roofing was able to find some seals around some build outs on the roof that just with age had deteriorated, and they came out and patched it, and that has held. But that did mean that we had back-to-back events of flooding and water extraction. So eventually down the line, hopefully when we're in better states, we're good for right now. It's a repair. It's it's not a patch, but we probably want to look into replacing that carpet down there. It's fine right now for what it is, but again, it was 25 years old and had seen better days. So certainly it's not a glaring thing that needs to be addressed right now. And we've got a bunch of damp rids down there to sort of help get more of the moisture out of the air. Fortunately, the way the building is constructed, the electrical was high enough that there was no loss of, electronics and no damage to any of the displays or anything down there. So we were lucky. We did file an insurance claim with TML through the city. So we'll hear back about what they're going to cover. The insurance adjuster has already been out to look, assess the damage and how we responded. And he expressed to me verbally that he was satisfied with our response to the situation. So that's where we are with our basement. Any questions about that? Okay. We also...
Would we ever
Yes.
want to consider pulling up the carpet and going back and staining the concrete?
Funny you should say that. That was Joanna's idea all along. That's not a bad idea. It's not horrible. Really, the only the only space in there that we would want to keep carpeted is what we converted into that filming room just for the acoustics. But yeah, I mean, that certainly is a very viable option that might be best, considering, we will always have that issue with that exterior door on the east side, I think.
Well, with the carpet getting wet, I get concerned about mold and mildew underneath that thing. So
I do too. And Joanna has like super sniffing abilities. I don't know if she was bit by a scent hound or a spider or something, but she's the first one to say something smells off, or she can sniff out mold and mildew. Just one of her many, many talents. But yeah, I have similar concerns, Dr. Jack. The television that was broken downstairs that we show our videos on, we discussed in last month's meeting. That one broke. We were able to find a replacement television that was affordable to us. And Cheryl's son, Sam, is our ex officio technical support for things like that. He came over to install it, and they unboxed the new television only to find it broken. So Cheryl has been handling the return of that one and getting the new one. So we still are without a television, still without a video presentation, but that is in the works so that we can complete that. We really do find our visitors are missing that video down there, and it begs the question of moving forward. Can we find some affordable technology that would enable us to give visitors the option of choosing, yes, the Archie McDonald video, but maybe work in conjunction with the university, with their film school. That would be a good place to host maybe some graduate project films covering some of, a diversity of topics about Nacogdoches. So, those are sort of the future plans for that. But the primary focus is getting Dr. McDonald's video back up so that we can return to some sense of normalcy down there. Board renewals, we have 3 positions that are rolling off this summer. That's Dr. Nelson, Mrs. Luna, and Mrs. Mouton. So the application process went live this past Monday. It will remain live until the 11th of June. Applications are available on the city website. So if you were wanting to re-up, we would love to have you back. If you would like to find your replacement, if you know of other people in the community that you think might want to serve a term on our board, I would encourage you to, find us some other partners that could share their thoughts and ideas and guidance on growing hospitality and tourism in Nacogdoches. So again, that deadline is the 11th of June. And then, of course, I don't have anything to say about it. That's a decision that's made by mayor and council. So,
All right, we have to reapply for this?
yes, sir. If you
Okay.
want to be back, we would love to have you. I don't know what that is. Bids. Huh. Huh. I don't know what I was thinking when I said bids. What am I accepting bids for? Yeah, I don't know. My apologies. That's.
I
I'm getting
wondered
a
if
bit-
that had to do with the water. Did that have to do with the water
Maybe it
problem?
did.
I wondered if you kind of covered both of those
Maybe I
with
did.
your report about the basement.
Let's go with that. That makes it sound like I'm uh, not killing brain cells over here. I did want to, it's not on the report, but I wanted to just take a moment to brag on, well, first to let you know, we have interns that started on Monday. We were approached by two young women from the hospitality department that were interested in an unpaid internship opportunity over the summer. So we were able to accommodate them and bring them in. They just started on Monday, and we are so lucky to have them, Casey Foster and Carly Thompson. So we are going to have a really full staff. I've encouraged both of them to come up with a project of their own in an area that they see lacking, that they can take full ownership of, and sort of flesh out their idea, start the project and finish the project, and leave here with a whole piece that they can add to their resume and use to, highlight their abilities in a real world situation. So I think Casey's idea that she came into us with was a destination wedding planning guide for Nacogdoches, which I've been wanting to do since I got here. And what was the other one, Ashley and Joanna? What was Carly's?
Carly's was small business, like event support.
Yeah, like a small a vendor fair in the parks for smaller businesses to help them establish a customer base. So both really great ideas, and they're going to be helping. They'll do rounds with Mike at the front desk so that they can learn from our hospitality and our Mike-ness, how to deal and service our guests and visitors. And then they'll have some time with Ashley and working with social media and hitting the highlights of that. Both of their specialties are events, though. So their primary mentor cohort will be Joanna with events, and their arrival here this week really is going to help with the implementation of that first concert and that launch on Memorial Day. So we're super excited to have them, and I really believe that's going to be such a benefit to us. And what I was going to say before that is really wanted to brag on the staff. Joanna has taken on special events, and it has been taxing and stressful for her, and she has really risen to the occasion. And I can't tell you enough how impressed I have been in her professionalism and her tenacity and her advocacy for the CVB and the work that we do here. So she is just killing it, and I'm so proud of her. And Ashley as well has taken on revamping the newsletter and breathing new life and relevancy into our content, and is doing great. And Mike is my favorite, so Mike continues to be stellar, and Mike and I just it is so satisfying to when I go home at night and just reflect on it, that to have to be able to work with professionals like I get to work with, who not just pull their weight and not just do their job, but go over and above and beyond with a passion. And gosh, I'm just blessed. But I wanted this board to realize, and I know that y'all know it, you are always so gracious and kind in your compliments, but wow, if you see those three in particular, give them a shout out, because they are working hard for the city of Nacogdoches. And that concludes my report.
Thank you so much for that, Sherry. We appreciate it. And I agree that there's a lot of good work going on at the CVB Visit NAC. Next is Joanna.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for that, Sherry. That sounds like maybe possible raise talk, money talk. Anyway, I do want to start with just recapping about our Sail on the Trail event. That was something that we had earlier this month, and that is in conjunction with our El Camino Real partners, everything in between us and Natchitoches. It's been an event that's been very successful for Louisiana and our eastern border, with having, the Junkin antiquing, storefront event. And Ashley and I have tried and continue to work hard in getting our downtown involved. It's a natural. We had several folks in town just call us and have us list their garage sales. I mean, it truly is a community event. And we have a call later today with our partners. We got a really nice compliment from them, from some of the folks that had come from our side to them, that it was successful here in Nacogdoches. We see it as something that could be much bigger than it is, but it will be we see it as a community event. So we may bring some more partners in that, take some different approaches. Sherry's talked about, wanting to do some more emphasis similar to the idea with being a destination with wedding venues, maybe looking more, and even with the new project, the intern is talking about highlighting businesses for some sort of fair, tying that back into a Sail on the Trail culmination, something where we can get more folks. Doesn't just have to be on Highway 21. We're small enough that we can include everyone in the county as far as we're concerned. We include the shops that are on 59 between us and Lufkin, but this is truly the kind of event that you see over in Round Top, Texas. There's a huge one in Alabama. I think it goes north and south up that route. But it's not just a Visit NAC event. It has to be something that we really can get the whole community in. And I think word of mouth is going to be king on that. And just, again, not a whole lot of lifting. If anybody just wants to get rid of stuff, give us your address. So anyway, that meeting will be later today. Also this evening, we have an event scheduled on the streets, partially downtown. It's going to originate from the TJ campus elementary school, coming down Mound. I think it takes a ride on Church Street or close near the seniors, graduating seniors for NAC High School are going to have a parade. I think we're going to have our interns put up some balloons just to show interest. I'm not sure. We're working with Main Street in hopes that we had the shops either open or have a few people out just to wave and say hello. We don't see it being a huge event, but we do want to recognize and congratulate those folks over at NHS, and the fact that they want to do this is pretty cool. We'll definitely have the Fredonia Brewery and the wine club folks out, but probably not the same age group. But at least they'll be present, and it'll make them feel good, and we're glad to be a part of that. Also, beginning today, we have our Evans United Spring Carnival all weekend long out at the expo. Anita continues to share with us the things that are happening out there so we can help promote that. Ashley's also put out a huge what's happening. We got tons of music and food events this weekend. Of course, that's always shared on our Facebook page as well as our partners page. If you haven't seen it, we encourage you to take a look at it. And any information you want on our upcoming events, please contact us and we'll be happy to get that information to you. In addition to, or beyond this weekend, we will have our big Memorial Day celebration. We really believe, and I've been saying this since I've been here, that 3-day weekends are our low-hanging fruit as a community to talk to our shop owners, to see if we could have commitments on Sundays and Mondays to be open, even if for a few hours. We're suggesting those hours be 11 to 2. It's easy to have brunch hours when you have a Sunday involved and you have the restaurants open for that particular weekend, which is, you know, this weekend coming up. We are encouraging that for both Sunday and Monday. But to kick it off, we are having our Knack Snack Friday, which will be held, of course, on the square by our building. We will have live music. It kicks off at 11 o'clock for our trucks to start serving, and then it runs through 8:30, depending on how many people are left to hear the band. We have one of our favorite groups coming in, Velvet Funk, and these kids are amazing. They have a horn section. I think they're 6 strong, and they're just wonderful. So we encourage you to come. If you do, please feel free to bring a chair. We put out everything we have, including conference chairs. They're comfy, but we are encouraging folks to bring their own chairs. It's just less cleanup for us. However, at the end of this particular Friday, we'll be taking everything we have and bringing it down to the park, because the next day is our first full moon concert summer series. We will be featuring Already Gone, which is the best Eagle tribute band in the southeast corner of our state. We're excited to have them. We've made arrangements for them to be at one of our bed and breakfast partners. They're going to all kumbaya over there. The owners are excited. They've hosted other bands. This is just relationship building. It's a part of how we can encourage outside musicians to continue to look at Nacogdoches as a possibility. It may not necessarily be in high dollar payments, but if we can give them a place to stay and feed them, we want them to look at us as their home away from home. And that's how we're going to continue, I believe, to build our music acts, as well as we have an opportunity to coordinate with a couple of like-minded communities that are far enough away, but that will look to create a circuit where we can share our own talent and flip it around a little bit so we can get exposure to the folks here that are playing. You guys are all invited to the concert. You've been sent a VIP package. We'd like for you to either decline or happily be at our concert. We're going to have you up front and center. You'll be in the Adirondack chairs. You'll be close to the bar service. This is going to be an alcohol event. We've got, and are partnering with Bonita Creek. They'll have their stations out there. I'm not sure what the word's called, but we hope to even have a service for the VIP section up there where you'll actually be able to get a drink order. It may land in your lap. I don't know if these folks will be professional, i.e. myself, but we're going to try. And the idea is we'll try to move everything down again from Friday, make the work less cumbersome on Saturday because I'm sure it'll be a nice and warm one. But we do have some sponsors coming out, and that includes RV Outfitters. They'll be out there with one of their setups, as well as they are providing a tour bus as our green room for our band. So we're excited to have them. We've got, I always forget, ERXL, that's going to be our first aid sponsor. They'll be out there just available to us. They'll have some goods. They'll be inside the fence. It's a great group. They've also purchased 20 tickets on their own because they understand that what it is we're up to. And just again, we've got some great people in town that are looking not only to help us, support us too financially. And then we'll also, as a showpiece, have our Harley Davidson Lumberjack come out. They too will have their bikes. We figured fun and colorful toys are perfect for summer as people are planning their trips, whether in an RV or on a bike. And so with that, know that our hotel partners are part of our full weekend package. We have discounted rates for all of them and for all of our folks coming in for concerts. So it's really going to be a great weekend. So Sunday, after the concert, we're working with Main Street, who is doing a Sunday brunch and shop, which most of the hours will again be 11 to 2. We appreciate that because we have several of our restaurants that are going to be doing brunch on that Sunday as well, including the hotel, the cottage, Cowboy Jack's, of course, Dolly's is just always kicking. And so we're really excited to have them participate in that event, as well as the downtown shops. And that is something that we hope to continue to grow. Not every store has signed up, but again, as a 3-day weekend, we really feel the hotel is completely booked as far as the Fredonia. They have a 500 person wedding. So those are the people we want to stay. And as long as we have activities going on that we can provide them and a reason to stay, this would be one of them. So on Sunday, which is the reason for the weekend, which is Memorial Day, we are partnering, we're partnering with our newest food restaurant downtown, Stonehouse Kitchen, and they are going to be serving again a brunch for that day. They are going to be setting up a table that's called Honoring the Fallen Soldier, which they're going to duplicate on the back of our stage. And we will have an explanation of what that means, because everything on that table has a meaning in regards to someone that we've lost serving our country and giving us the freedom that we're all here today living. In addition to that, this is 11 to 1 program. Sherry's going to kind of open it up and let folks know that what else Ashley's doing in order for us to get more people engaged in the reason for Memorial Day and why we celebrate it. And I'll let Ashley touch on that. But we are having a 4-piece quartet gospel group that will be singing during this program. The Stone House Kitchen will have a spokesperson again explaining what the table means. We have the involvement of the area VFW. They will be there. They have a special program that they do. I'll let Ashley talk more about that. She's actually talked to them. And then we also have contacted and invited the Blue Star Mothers, who are a group that also represent fallen soldiers and veterans. Other than that, that's that weekend. And then June 5th, which is the following weekend, and I'm just mentioning this because this is all before we meet again, we have our disc golf tournament. It's not something that right now we are currently involved in as much as we will be involved in. I am continually speaking to the Mark Sal, who you may know, he's a big sponsor of it. This is a group that comes every year. It gets sold out in a matter of hours. It's over 200 plus players. They're looking at professional and amateurs. We want the group to be in more communication with the city in regards to keeping up those courses that we have and potentially creating more courses, because we could actually own this sport, and it's very self-contained, but it's also something that brings a lot of people from all over, not only the state of Texas, but put a circle around it, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Arkansas. We get a lot of players, and they're looking to create another event, potentially a women's event in November. So anyway, it is an event that does occur here. We just want to put more eyes on it publicly and how we can support that and just grow it from a PR standpoint, and also potentially getting more folks involved in this. Is a sport we can do, or at least I can do at my age. So it's a cool thing that can represent part of our outdoor pillar and bringing folks to our parks. And so we're really happy to be a part of it. I'll be out there just surveying and seeing where we can continue to help. So that is June 5th. Let me see what else. We've got tons of things else happening, but that's the biggie. We also, beginning June 7th through 10th, Millard's Crossing will be kicking off all of their blueberry events. That'll include particular activities as well as music, beginning Monday through Thursday. And then, of course, that Friday, we kick off Blueberry with our bluegrass event, bluegrass concert in the park. And then that Saturday, of course, we're going to have the Blueberry Festival, of which we are working closely with both of those chamber events and community partners to, be as involved as we can. I think we're all working it at some point. We've all got our activities. And let's see what else we all have. And then after that, I think we have a breather for 1 week, not the weekend, but maybe a few days. And then the week of June 21st kicks off our new restaurant week with the involvement of Netco, Larissa Philpott, Main Street, and I'm sure other partners here in town, where we're going to be highlighting specials for all of our restaurants to help them recover in all things that have occurred this past year. And we look forward to being involved in that. So that's it for today. And I'll be back at it again next time.
Hey, Joanna, how many tickets have we sold for the concert?
We've sold, we have sold about 210 at this point. We have probably another 100. We have invited, in addition to our board, several folks in the community that we want to have present. Jimmy Mize and his wife will be there. We'll have President Gordon and his wife from the university there. We hope to have you guys there, as many as possible. Obviously, I know, Wanda, you got a business to run, but anybody that can be a part of it, we'd love to have you. I think it's worth showcasing. It will be a model for the park to continue with some concerts, potentially with this type of format. And it'll also allow us the things that we might need to work on as a community, or how to expand Festival Park as a concert venue. Yes, Damon.
I don't think I didn't receive anything. I didn't receive an email about that.
Well, that I'm going to directly put on Ashley, because if you could do that for Damon, we know you love music, so we'll get that for you.
And it sounds like a great, while I'm chiming in, just to say, I'm really excited about this event. I think it is a great model for what we can do with that park, and what we can do leading downtown into that park, and kind of integrating it as an area that will generate tourism. I've been for this all along. You have my support. Thank you.
Yeah, well, you're very welcome, and we do appreciate your support. And again, music to me is king, as well as food. And with our, it is a family friendly event. However, we are going to have alcohol as an option. And to me, it's all about bringing your chair and hanging out on a blanket. And if you have children, it's just remember they're there. We're not thinking or expecting this to be anything crazy. Tribute bands also they bring homage to the past. And just in speaking to that, we are partnering SFA. Remember when the page that's on Facebook that's done so well, they are and have sent out this information because, again, there are lots of folks on there that were on the campus during the 70s, 80s that love the Eagles. So yeah, we see this as a reason to come back and grab your friends. We've had people purchase 20 tickets, not just our sponsor, but people were wondering, who are they? And 10 tickets. And it's really going to be a lot of fun. In July, we have on the books again an 80s group. And if this works out and we continue to see this as viable, and sometime later, we'll look at the 90s. But it works well with folks coming back from Nacogdoches.
And Don Henley was in the SFA marching band in the late 60s.
Yes, well, Don Henley is not a fan of tribute bands, nor is he a fan of SFA.
Or not yet. He didn't have a great experience here.
He didn't. But maybe there's some other way we can promote that, with a big circle and a mark through his face. I'm not sure, but we're excited. Yeah, but we're excited. And again, this band is super excited. We'll have a full stage. I never know if it's going to be high enough. One of the things with the park is it's flat. And Kevin, I'm working with Kevin White from Bonita, and he's been able to speak with Mario about some of the shortcomings of the park. One of it being flat. You either have to build a stage or you would have more of the, and I can't ever remember the word, but where the stage is lower and it's kind of semi in the round. I think that has been something that has been looked at in the past. To me, possibly a stage would work. This one may not be high enough, but we'll see. Once we do this event, I think we have the right number of people. I figure we'll probably max out around 500 folks, and it'll be perfect for us to see. Everyone's going to have a great seat, but if we do want to have more people in there, if we sell more tickets, we'll have more sponsorship. This won't be a money maker for us yet, but it definitely can be. I don't think at this point we're going to lose. We're doing well enough to cover the expense of the band. The fencing came in much lower than I thought. We are going to use the profits from the movie to kind of offset, but I think we're still going to be okay. And having someone out there like RV Outfitters and XLER and Lumberjack, and maybe inviting, VIP, some other potential sponsors. The idea is let's let them see it, see what they feel, and then we can put a value to it.
Joanna, thank you so much for that report and for the invite for those that VIP seating at the concert. That's awesome, and we appreciate it. And now, Miss Ashley Morgan.
Good morning. Yeah, Damon, I'm sorry you didn't get that email. Can you really quick tell me what your email is so I make sure I have the right one? Oh, you're on mute. If you want to just put it in the chat box, that would actually be best.
Oh, okay, I'll do that.
Okay. And if anyone else did not receive it, please do the same thing. I sent it out to the board emails that I have, but I may have the wrong emails. So real quick, I just wanted to introduce one of our lovely interns. This is Carly Thompson. Hi. She has been great so far. She's just been here since Monday, but she's been helping us put together our VIP passes for the concert, as well as sending out the physical tickets, because I think I told y'all before, we printed out some tickets to get that nostalgic feel for the concert. So we mailed those out yesterday. I did produce that newsletter that Sherry mentioned, and we sent it out to leads that we've gotten from Texas Monthly, visitor walk-ins, website requests for information. It was a little over 200 people, and they're all new relevant emails from like this year. And it did really well. Actually, it had a 35% open rate, which I learned from Joanna is apparently very good for newsletters. So I'm proud about that, and I'm excited. I made sure to include information for events all the way up until July. And I also gave special shout outs to Naka Valley Vineyard, the Fortney Home, and a couple other things I can't remember off the top of my head. But if you're interested in that newsletter, and if you're not already on the list, I'm going to drop the link to sign up for the newsletter in the chat box, just because if you guys are wondering what we're up to. Last week, I attended the Sfa Transfer Orientation, and it was really fun. I got to meet a lot of transfer students and parents of those transfer students and talk to them about what we do here. I printed out about 20 copies of our What's Happening that we put out every week, and every single one of them got picked up. And a lot of people scanned our QR codes that had information about our social media. So I feel really good about establishing this relationship with these new students. And I also gave a little mini speech at their lunch. So we were appreciative of SFA for giving us that opportunity. Let's see, last month we had a writer from East Texas View, which is a magazine in the Longview and Tyler area, come and interview Sherry and I. And it was really cool because we both got to give our perspective of what there is to do in this town. And so that that article was released yesterday, and we posted it on our social media, on our Facebook page if you're interested. It named so many of our partners by name, and from what I can tell, they're really excited that they all got that shout out, like Front Porch Distillery, Fredonia Brewery, Cottage Wine Bar, and stuff like that. So I encourage you to go check out that article, and I'll put the link for that in the chat box as well. And then let's see, we had 7,728 people find us on Google in April, and that's exciting. A lot of those converted to website visits, and we're always wanting that. And I just wanted to give a very heartfelt thank you to Chris Hancock for redesigning our Visit Nacogdoches logo for free. We really appreciate that. All they did was added visit in there, and then they also redesigned one of our smaller logos. And this has just been great for our pieces that we produce, and for getting the word out there that we go by Visit Nacogdoches now instead of Nacogdoches Convention and Visitors Bureau. And Joanna mentioned she wanted me to talk about the Honoring the Fallen Soldier. We are trying really hard to get this out by next week, but we're going to have a form on our website where you can submit a photo and a brief description of a person that you know was lost in service or even after service. And at that event on Monday, May 31st, we are going to have a TV on the back porch that has a slideshow of these people, memorializing them. So as soon as I have that information, I will send the link out to you guys. So if you have anyone you want to feature, we'll be sure to include them. And the VFW Auxiliary, which I was actually in this group when I lived in Pittsburgh, Texas. It's a group of wives, daughters, and women related to those who have been in the service. And they are bringing poppies, which are my favorite flower, to this event. And if you've ever seen it at grocery stores, they hand out poppies on Memorial Day to memorialize those veterans and people lost. So we really hope you guys come to any of those events that she mentioned. I built out an itinerary of everything that Joanna said, so I'll be sure to send that to you guys as well, because if you say there's nothing to do next weekend, I will find you. No, I'm just kidding. So that concludes my report. Mike is, we have a group of students coming in right now, and he's hosting them, so he does not, he's not gonna be able to give a report, but he said things are going great here. Yesterday, he gave a speech to a group from the Texas AgriLife Extension. And so it's always great when people get to listen and hear from Mike. And these are people from all over Texas, I think specifically the Austin area. So we know that that will, I'm sure, convert to either raving reviews or additional visitors. So, all right, that concludes my report.
Thank you so much, Ashley. And I agree that every group that gets to hear from Mike has a definite, it's a treat. And also my thanks to Hancock Advertising. The work that they do for Visit NAC, the CVB, is phenomenal. And to have a logo redesign, even one that's fairly small, that is a huge gift to the CVB, and really to everyone in the community. Every business in the community benefits from the work that's done here, and indirectly received a huge contribution from Hancock Advertising. So that's very nice. Okay, and so if we're not going to hear from a report from Mike directly, I think our next agenda item is to set a date and time for our next meeting. And Sherry, correct me if I'm wrong, but is that June 17th?
It would
at
be
8:30.
It would be the third Thursday. I did want to tell you that in executive staff on Tuesday morning, Mario, the city manager, we discussed the future of meetings. City council has chosen, they've taken down the plexiglass partitions, and they've added back more seats in there. City council is now 100% in person moving forward. However, it is completely and solely up to the boards to decide. We are able to legally remain virtual, or we can go back to where we were pre-pandemic, where we meet in council chambers that third Thursday at 8:30. So that's for us to decide today how we want to proceed, but legally we're covered either way. I did want to point out in your board books, the latest Smith Travel research report, April's numbers were up 92.2% for hotel occupancy. And that is, we are on par with like 2018, 2017. So very great numbers. And I think May is going to be even stronger. So that was really good news. Wanted you to just to highlight that and point that out. But we can talk about our next meeting if we want to do virtual or in person.
I would vote for in person.
So am I correct, Sherry, we would be back in the city council chambers?
Yes, we have permission to do that.
Okay. I kind of, Damon, Wanda, and Sarah, do y'all have any issues with going back to in-person meetings? I kind of hate to do this, put everybody on the spot this way, because, I know sometimes if you're the person who has any apprehension about that, it might kind of be tough to say, but what are y'all's thoughts on that?
I don't have any apprehension about it. I'm really fine with whatever everybody else wants to do. I don't feel strongly one way or another.
I feel the same way. I'm having a baby pretty soon. And so I will probably be unable to be present face to face with a little baby at home. So is it possible to Zoom in still for the summer meetings, or would that not be an option?
No, I'm sure we can. Yeah.
Okay. But I'm fine with face to face in general. I have no apprehensions about it. I just personally probably won't be able to make it until maybe August or September.
As long as I get to
I'm good with what everybody decides.
Okay. Well, I think we can go ahead then and plan to have the June 17 meeting in person in the city council chambers. And possibly, even if we can't set it up for Sarah to Zoom in, maybe we could just have her on like a speakerphone. I think we've done that in the past. If setting it up via Zoom is difficult in any way. But we'll surely make arrangements for the Drake baby, for sure.
Sherry,
Okay.
Sherry, Steve mentioned that the size of our board, there's a conference room somewhere near where the engineering office is. They do a lot of meetings with contractors, and when they're doing these interviews for this comprehensive plan and all of that, they have a screen up there and they Zoom a lot with people.
Okay.
They had teams for the comprehensive plan where some of them were there and some of them were Zoomed. And all you'd have to do is get with Michael Donnell to see about the Channel 21. That would be the only other thing. But that would also be more of a table like we had in the basement. That's a little more, I don't know, user-friendly than the stage and all that. If that's just an option, you might want to check into.
Yeah, the city IT department and giving out shout outs, they have really just done such an amazing job of bringing up the technology over in City Hall to accommodate all of the different meeting needs that arose out of COVID. So I'll check with Michael Donnell over in IT, and thank you to IT for always helping us out. But we will let's plan now to meet in chambers, and then we can discuss other options at that meeting. But it shouldn't be any problem for anybody that wants to remote in to that meeting if need be in June. So it's all good.
Well, if there is nothing else that needs to be discussed, we'll go ahead and conclude our meeting today. And thank everybody for their participation.
Great. Thanks.
Bye.